All right. Check a 1, 2. Shout out to all the late and the greats. For example, game shows. Shout out, you know who? Richard Dawson. Shout out Richard Dawson, because Richard Dawson had the Guinness Book of World Record title for kissing the most women. And when I read that when I was a kid, like, wow, this guy got the most, for what? He kissed the most women out of every man in the world. Like, I was like, I want to be a game show host. Like, straight young, too. I was like, I want to be a game show host. So it's like, what do you study at school? You go to the little, like, counselor's office and everything. Like, when you're in school, they got the counselor and you go one at a time. And then she types up your thing and she sees a bunch of C's, D's, and F's. And then she'd be like, well, what do you want to do? Do you have any plans? I'm like, yes. She's like, all right, what are your plans? I'm like, I want to be a game show host. What do you suggest I study? And so that's probably why I can't spell, because of Richard Dawson. I blame him. But that's not why I can't spell, I've been smoking weed since I was 10 years old, something like that. People are like, oh, that's sad. And I'm like, no, it's not sad. It's just that's the time that I joined the time when I chose a path to see things differently, to be what they call today woke, which is a ridiculous term, but even that's not why I can't spell, though. When we were like 9, 10 years old, we used to have this game. Excuse me. We had a game. Like, I don't know, we didn't have a name for it. You lean against the wall and hyperventilate, like as much as you could, and then on like the 20th deep breath, you take a deep breath and hold it. And then your friend presses against your chest as hard as he can while you're against the wall, and you would pass out. You like, pow, and just fall on your face, fall on your head. And you look up and everybody's standing over you, looking down, laughing about the way that you fell, because nobody would catch you.
You got knocked the fuck out, man.
And you think you were out for like an hour. You're like, how long was I gone? And they be like, oh, there's a few seconds. You gone a few seconds. There's nothing. And I told my girl that story, about like how we used to do that for fun as kids. And she was like, that's why you can't spell. And I was like, oh shit, she's right. Smoking weed is not even really a big deal anymore now that it's legal. That's why I don't even want to smoke weed anymore. I don't want to smoke weed anymore. It's not fun. Look, when we were coming up, like when we was kids and you had to go buy weed, like you'd have to go to the worst part of town. You had to go into the hood somewhere. Everybody's nervous. Cats got lookouts. Everybody got guns. There's guns in the bushes. Cats on rooftops and all type of stuff going on. You could get robbed. You could get ripped off. Anything could happen. And then if you got through that, then the other thing was what the cops would do, instead of like trying to just have a whole operation where they come and swarm on the whole block because everybody runs, they just wait for your dumb ass to come and buy some weed, and then they'll wait for you to go about 3-4 blocks away, and then they'll come swoop on you and throw you against the wall of the car or whatever, because they know they just watched you buy quote unquote drugs off the street. And at that time, especially in Oakland, California, at that time, you could look it up. They're called the Riders. These guys would drop a couple of crack rocks in your pocket for free. You get pulled over, mess around, get pulled over by them. They're like, let's search your car. Like, yeah, no problem. Officer, search my car. They look, they open the trunk. You hear, the trunk closed. Another cop, come on. Hey, we gonna search your car. Yeah, I said y'all could search my car, man. What was that? Oh, He got a dead body and 3 kilos of coke in the trunk. Like, what the fuck? That's what, all that had to stop. Because finally, people started like taping cameras to their forehead. But that really, really, really used to happen. So now, you go to court and the judge, does her little spiel. The church members have really been coming to me and trying to tell me about, how bad the drugs and the violence is, and we really need to do something about this plague. And now you have 3 to 5 years just because you went to go buy a dime bag. That really happened. Not to me, but it really happened to like too many people. It still happens. But So anyway, once you got home from buying a dime bag, you needed to smoke weed. Like, your heart's beating, you sweating, your blood pressure's up. Like, oh man. That's why 90s hip hop sounds how it does. Because we was stressed out. And a lot of weed had seeds in it. Oh man, you guys now, you kids, teenagers, whatever, high school students, whatever. I don't know. I ain't go to damn high school. That's why I'm able to think for myself. But yeah, man, whatever, 18-year-olds, whatever. You just walk into a store and like, let me smell the pina colada, rose elbow, Johnny Cash, chocolate dipped, some shit like. Listen, God don't make things in banana, mango, chocolate, Bob Marley flavor. We smoking cotton candy now. I don't, but although I do like the gas, but happy 420. There. There's this old Eddie Murphy movie called Trading Places. Some of y'all know that movie, Trading Places. It's by a producer named Aaron Russo, right? Aaron Russo turned out to be one of the biggest whistleblowers and truth speakers in modern history. And a lot of us don't know it. I forget how he died, but we probably know. We know how he died, right? Was he killed? Did he quote unquote commit suicide? I gotta look that up. That's for the next podcast, but I'm pretty sure something like that. Him, Phil Schneider, the dude who wrote Behold the Pale Horse, all of them guys got taken out. But listen, that's not the point. Aaron Russo, he got befriended by what's his name, Rockefeller. I don't remember his first name. When your last name is Rockefeller, it don't matter what your first name is. He got befriended by a Rockefeller, right? By a high level. Not a cousin, but like a main, you know what I mean? So the guy, they start hanging out, and, the guys, dude's like, hey, let's go to a party. Yeah, because, everything's on him. So they're hanging out, and they're getting, they're having a drink somewhere. And the Rockefeller guy asked Russo, he says, what do you think of the women's movement? And Aaron Russo was like, good thing, equality and all that. And the Rockefeller guy laughed, and he said, we created that. And he's like, huh? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, well, we created that because at the time, most women were housewives. And they were staying home, taking care of the kids, and only the men worked. So we decided that if we can get women into the workforce, then we wouldn't only be taxing half the population, because right now we're only taxing half the population. We want to tax the full population. So therefore, if we let women into the workforce, we double the money in taxes. And as a bonus, we get control of the kids. And anybody who does the research can find that the Board of Education was founded by the Rockefeller Corporation. They weren't even called the Foundation yet. They were called the Rockefeller Corporation, and they were they won the contract, so to speak, through the government to create the Board of Education. And in 1906, their main spokesman came out and said a speech to the tune of, basically, he said, we're not looking for great poets or men of letters. We do not need scientists or philosophers or doctors or critical thinkers. He just said this whole list of, things that would be nice for your child to turn out to be. He said, no, we're not looking for any of those things with this public education system. He said, we're merely trying to create a workforce who works and or obeys better than their parents did. Because at the time this is the late 1800s, early 1900s is the height of the labor movements and the creation of unions and all these things like that, which has a whole nother side story to it, which isn't the point right now. But that's the labor movements. That was the height of the labor movements, and what they found was the people who led the labor movements were all highly educated. And not only were they highly educated, but they were home-schooled. That's why when you look at a test from Missouri from 1865, I think it's an 8th grade test. Yeah, 8th grade test from Missouri at 1865. And you look at that test, college students of this day, probably people with master's degrees, depending on, unless their degree is, people with master's degrees in whatever one subject could not pass this test. And this test is for 8th graders in 1865. So what happened? What happened is the Rockefeller Corporation created the Board of Education, which in turn gave birth to the public education system, and they were the ones who compiled what the course of study would be. That's why they call them courses, right? What the direction of study would be, which way they would guide your thoughts, which course of direction they would guide the thoughts of people. And I forgot to end it. He said, we're not looking for men of letters, and we're not blah, 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 blah. We're not looking for great mathematicians or scientists. He said, all of which we have an ample supply of within our own institutions, right? So we see that there's a difference between a real education, even the word educate. If you look at the etymology of the word educate, it means to draw out. To draw out, like a sculptor stares at a block of marble, and he sits there with his glass of wine or his spliff or whatever, and he stares at the marble until the form within reveals itself to him. And once he sees it, he can't unsee it. And then he just starts chipping away madly and creating the form that he's drawing out of. So therefore, as a teacher, if I have a student and I talk to that student, engage with that student, get to know that student, and I realize, wow, this child is a very good critical thinker. This child is eloquent. This child is able to express themselves very well. So I would look into those types of things. A lawyer, a politician, a salesman, whatever, those sort of things, and say, these are the things that your personality would be good at. Let me draw that out of you so you can own it and know it yourself. And the problem is with the education system today is they take every student, which is a blank, marble, and they shape it into one Mickey Mouse form. And if your marble can't hold that Mickey Mouse form, then too bad. You got to get out of town. So, or go stand in the hallway, or whatever the case may be. So education again means to draw out. It doesn't mean to program and put in and make somebody regurgitate something over and over again. It means to draw out their talents and let them own them and come and so you can do what you love to do as a job, which makes so much sense and which how the world should be. But we can't do that because everything is so inverted and upside down. I was studying this thing called neuro-linguistic programming. They call it NLP. There's this magician guy, like influencer, not influencer like in an Instagram way, like somebody who will like influence your mind when he's talking to you on some kind of half. It's a little not to use biblical terms because it's it's bigger than hip hop, but it kind of demonic or in Islamic terms, it kind of jinn like. There's definitely a jinn like quality to what these people do because it works. And to watch people be subjected to it is scary. So, for example, okay, here's a great example because I started doing it myself. All right. So, before Uber, right, in New York, they had, regular, gypsy cabs or whatever. Like, you standing on Fulton Street, you trying to get somewhere, you put your hand up, just any random African would just pull over, like, hop in, where do you want to go, But yeah, man, take me over to because, in Brooklyn, there weren't no really yellow cabs like that. I mean, they had them, but a lot of times they would, the gypsy cab is going to pull you over quicker, right? I mean, he's going to pick you up quicker. So anyway, you would tell them your destination, take me down to BAM, or just take me to downtown Brooklyn or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And every time they'd always have a different price. It was like if this dude is hungry or if he's having a bad day, it might be $13. The next guy, if it would be like sometimes it'd be $8. So it just they'd be like $8, $10. So for me, I just decided that $10 was a good all-around average price if I'm going anywhere, like a couple miles, blah, 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 right? Because I didn't want to use the power, in a negative way. I wasn't trying to rob people. So $10, right? So what I would do is when we're riding and when we soon get to the destination, I look at my watch. Okay, 10 minutes. And I pick up my phone. Hello? Yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there soon. I don't know, 5-10 minutes away, maybe about 10 minutes. I heard about the meeting. I know there was a lot of tension. I intended to handle that, but yeah, okay, yep. Call you in 10. All right, you take care. All right, boom. We pull up right when I'd hang up. Dude would turn around. I say how much? He'd say 10, and put out his hand. Because he had the word 10 floating around in his head so much, he couldn't help but say it just to get it out. And he didn't know why he had the word 10 in his head because he's not listening to my conversation, but he hears it. He doesn't want to listen to my boring ass fake conversation. So he blocks it out, but he still hears it. So he doesn't know why. He's driving, thinking of something. I'm talking on the phone. When we both engage now, for some reason, he's got the word 10 floating around in his head. I messed around and I was talking to my lady about it. Oh yeah, I don't do this. She's like, what? And I explained it to her and I showed her and it worked. She said, you ever did that to me? I said, yeah. What you think? Of course. And it's like the worst thing I told her, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I because now, like, everything I do, I could be like, hey, sweetheart, you know what I'm saying? What do you want on the menu? You want number 7 or number 16? And she'd be like, are you NLPing me? Like, what? Like, no, I'm not NLPing you. I'm just trying to act like I'm at the grocery store. I call her like, what do do you want a mango or a guava? Oh, don't try to NLP me. I see what you're doing. Get me neither. And then she would call me back, be like, both. Haha. NLP that. And I'm like, what the? Anyway, this has been a podcast I shall soon name for all the guided ones, all the young scholars, all the OGs, all the people who use all their wisdom, knowledge, and strength to help and serve the people. One love, one mind, one heart, one blood, one God, one aim, and one destiny. See y'all in a minute. Bill.